I've lived here all my life. I was born in Water Street, which is just up the road here, and I've lived here for 58 years. The thing is that no one seems to be continuing with the history. It's just somebody needs to, put it in the forefront, so to speak. Because once it's gone, the history's gone, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Victoria Gardens in Neath is the centrepiece of the town of Neath. It was built to commemorate Queen Victoria's Jubilee. And at the centre of the gardens, there's a large bandstand where people used to meet, and they still do actually. It's quite a lively place in the summer. Everyone goes there to sit and have food and meet people and that. At the Castle Hotel in Neath, well, it's mostly famous, I should imagine, for the inaugural meeting of the Welsh Rugby Union. That was in 1881. And during that meeting, the Welsh Rugby Union was formed on that day. There's been a lot of obviously famous people who stayed in the Castle Hotel. The most famous person of all, I should imagine, is Admiral Lord Nelson. He stayed there on his way to Milford Haven. At that particular time, the landlord's son had served under Lord Nelson in the Battle of Trafalgar, believe it or not. And so, he stayed there then. The Gwyn Hall in Neath is a Victorian building, and it was a very important building, and it still is at that today. And it's going under redevelopment at the moment, and it'll be open soon. The architect and the builder of the Mechanics Institute was Alfred Russel Wallace, and he came to Neath in the early 1800s. He stayed in Neath, for quite a while, and lived in a cottage in Lantwich, which is just up the road here. After it was built, he left for an expedition in the Amazon for 4 years. He came across this theory of natural selection, and at that time Charles Darwin was working on the same subject, so they collaborated with each other. And then of course Darwin wrote The Origin of the Species, whereas he was the hero and Alfred Russel Wallace was the anti-hero, so to speak. But he worked collaboratively with Darwin, and they were friends for many years, but they fell out afterwards, obviously, because Darwin published The Origin of the Species. Yes, Neath Castle is around about the 14th century Norman castle. If you look at it now, it's just a ruin, but in its heyday, the brickwork was plastered and it was rendered in limestone and water mixed. And then once that had dried, it was painted white, so it must have looked a fair building in its time. And it's reported, but I'm not sure about this historically, that Edward II was captured in this castle before his demise. Now, whether that's true or not, I like to believe it's true. It's a regal flag because the town was held by the English. As I mentioned before, Edward II, he was here. The English were rulers of Neath, apart from the Romans, obviously, who founded Neath. It was a very important town to the Romans. It was called NIDEM in Latin. And they built a garrison here that held 2,000 men, and it was only one garrison of 9 in Wales. They stayed here for a couple of 100 years and used the town as a trail down to West Wales. And it's said that this was one of the most important towns, Roman towns.